Hey, what's good? This is Blizzy Blake here, back on another episode of Me, Myself, and I. This is episode 4. It's called Negative Forces. Today we are talking about the negative forces in our lives that have a tendency to screw us up, and the reason why we procrastinate and have a tendency not to get things done. So, some of the negative forces I'd like to talk about, you know what I'm saying? They have a tendency to really destroy us as a person, really destroy us as a group of people. And I honestly think that it is within our best ability to try to get rid of these negative forces and not have such people in our lives. Because for the simple fact is that in order to change how we think, feel, how to be healthier, you know what I'm saying, with ourselves, it's sometimes better just to get rid of these horrible negative forces that enter our life and absolutely just destroy and ruin our feng shui. And I'm all about the feng shui, and I'm all about what makes me happy, what works for me, and if it's not good for my health and it's negative and I don't like it and it's not working for me, then my attitude is like, well, guess what? It's gotta fucking go. Because I don't have time for unpositive people. Just to let you know, we are broadcasting live from the Impact Hub at 394 Broadway. So for all the ringing and everything you're hearing back there is the make school, and the kids are coming in. So I'm just letting you know, if you hear sounds, you know what I'm saying, we are broadcasting live from the Impact Hub at 394 Broadway, the office of where it's being held for ZenFit Productions and ZenFit Rehab Studio. So, like I was saying, negative forces have a tendency to disrupt our lives. And there's several types of negative forces. And we need to know how to detect them and feel them, and we need to also learn how to reflect them from us. Sometimes it's hard to get rid of these negative forces because they have a tendency to grab us in, suck us in, and then we don't know what technically to do left with ourselves. So because of that situation, we just tend to let these things keep entering our lives, keep poisoning us, keep upsetting us. And it's like, why the hell do we still do it? You understand? Why on earth do we still allow people to break us down, to tell us what to do, to destroy us, to make us feel like we are less than worthy of anyone? You know what I'm saying? Like, why do we do it? Why do we do it? And it's not cool. It's not cool in our families. It's not cool socially. It's not cool, you know what I'm saying, worth ethically. Like, we shouldn't allow people to just come in and tell us what we can and cannot do, and tell us that we can't believe in something or we shouldn't believe in something. Like, those are things that I technically myself don't like, when someone tells you you can't do this. I mean, look, people sit here all the time. They don't trust my position of what I'm doing, trying to be a podcaster, radio host, stuff like that, and using self-help and self-talk to get people out there to listen and understand. A lot of people don't respect it. A lot of people don't understand it. A lot of people think, oh, well, you're not going to make a whole lot of money. It's like being a starving artist. But I learned that I was unhappy in a lot of things that I did. And I was unhappy in a lot of my jobs. I was unhappy with myself as a person. So, when I finally found something that totally moved me, when I finally found something that totally made me happy, and but for the first time I felt like a sense of a place of I belong somewhere. And I don't want to, you know what I'm saying, I don't want to go back to my miserable ways and my unhappiness of, you know what I'm saying, feeling like nothing. And it all came from negative forces. It all came from people telling me what I could and could not do. It all came from people telling me this is not going to work for you, that's not going to work for you. You can't make money this way, you can't make money that way. And, if I continuously allow people to just do that to me, then what's the point? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just no point anymore in it's just no point anymore in then I might as well just do what everybody else wants, and I might as well just do whatever works for everybody else. And you know what I'm saying? But that's not how I want to raise my daughter. I don't want to raise my daughter where she lives this type of life where she doesn't have opportunities, or she doesn't get a chance to, you know what I'm saying, be happy and do what it is that she wants to do. And it's crazy because sometimes a lot of these negative forces come from family. Like, a lot of these negative forces truly come from family. From family, sometimes even friends. I mean, if I can count, as much as I love my family, if I can count as many times as they were like, no, you can't do this, my family is hilarious. Sometimes they can be the biggest dream killers on the face of this planet, and then sometimes they can be the most biggest supporters in my corner. Because it's funny, like, family has a tendency to not support you, but when someone else comes along and tells your child, or my mother, your daughter's this, or your son is that, or your daughter's a this, she be the first one to jump on the bandwagon and be like, nope, my daughter can do anything she wants. You can't tell her nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, but then in the background, she worries about me. And I respect it and I understand it, but sometimes it can be a negative force, especially if you are listening to your family all the time and you're trying to please them and do for them and do what they want. I know full hand that it sometimes can be horrible and it can be hard because family has expectations. And then you feel as a person you need to live up to those expectations. And if you don't live up to those expectations, you have a tendency to, feel like you're not worthy and you're not good enough for your family. And I can understand, like, I'm the oldest of mine, and because I'm the oldest, I have a tendency to like feel like I have to do this or I have to do that or I have to prove myself. You know what I'm saying? Worthy of someone, but that can be a negative force that can tend to control you, and has a tendency, it could control you, it could destroy you, it could totally mess up just about everything, you know what I'm saying, in your life, and that can be a problem, and then that can also help make you lack motivation, like, and the last thing you want to do is lack motivation or lack the will or the drive to do something just because, for whatever reason, just because of what family says or, what family does. You can definitely, it could definitely screw with you, and it could definitely mess with your head, and it could definitely take over and take control of you. And I completely understand. Sometimes it's hard because it is your family and we do trust what our family says and what our family does, and we trust what they feel, you know what I'm saying, because they know, but this can also be a negative force in our life, especially if it pushes us aside from what we want to do and what we want to dream. We can't always make our parents happy. We can't. I've tried that for years. God knows I've tried for years to make my family happy and to make my family, you know what I'm saying, like, just do whatever it is they want to, like, make them, make me worthy in their eyes. And then I come to realize, well, that wasn't working, like it's really not working and it's really not helping. You know what I'm saying? Trying that. And after a while, it was like, all right, well, it's about either me, myself, and I. So, what works for me? What makes me happy? What makes my daughter happy? You know what I'm saying? Like, what can I do that'll just like work for me? And if it makes other people unhappy, I have to understand that that's on them. It's not on you, and you need to see it that way. Like, it's not on you. You should go out there and do whatever the fuck you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, our parents raised us to a certain point. This is why they send us to college away at 18, for us to like get an idea, an aspect of life, what life is like, what it's like to live on our own and do on our own, and we really shouldn't, hold ourselves back from anything that we want to do. So when it comes to family being a negative force, it's not like they're like the complete negative force, but they can be. They can sometimes hold us back, especially if you have parents that, like I said, have high expectations, have certain expectations, and in return you don't reach that goal. And if you don't reach that goal within family, then it is understood. And yes,